You mentioned, before the Oregon game, wanting to do some things differently with your calling and the way you, schematically drew it up. When you were back and kind of self-scouted, I guess, were you pleased with how things went against Oregon?
Yeah, and I think that it wasn't redrawing it up. It was just more following the plan that we had laid out for week one. And like I said, there were some things I didn't follow the plan. And it was a good plan, not by me, by all the coaches. And I just didn't follow it to the T like I should have the first game. Second game, I followed what we wanted to do that game. Not that it was the same, but followed the plan a little better. Obviously, there's calls you wish you could have back. But I thought that, the plan that our coaches laid out there was a very good one, and I did a better job following it.
What were the emphases last week for the bye week? What did you want to make sure you cleaned up? A couple things in particular?
Yeah, I think, Oregon gave us a little bit more formation into the sideline, into the boundary, and a little bit more unbalanced than they had shown on film or we had seen. So we wanted to make sure to really clean those run fits up. We wanted to clean up some things that we did not only from that Oregon game but also game one. From here on out, it's going to be about us getting better at what we do. We're going to play a lot of quality opponents. Got a game plan each one of them accordingly, but we're going to have to continue to get better at the things we do. We're going to have to continue to work tackling. We're going to have to continue to work leverage. We're going to have to continue to work, the takeaway circuit. That's becoming profitable for us, but we need to keep cleaning that up.
We're just asking Spencer about Drew Simpson. He said, the way he started this season, if he keeps playing this way, his best football is ahead of him. Just how dominant can he be for your defense?
Yeah, I think Drew can be as good as he wants to be. Drew has an unbelievable skill set. He can do a lot of different things. You've all seen him rush the passer in the last few weeks. He's playing well in coverage. He's really forcing the fumble well right now. It's all going to be on up to how Drew wants to handle his day-to-day and how much extra film time he wants to get and how he just operates on a day-to-day basis because he has all the talent in the world. And he's a really good football player. He's a great guy to be around. It's kind of in his hands right now on where he wants to take this thing.
A lot of the talk after the Oregon game was like Spencer and some of the guys felt the defense was close, and just close to really having everything click. I mean, do you feel like with what you've seen, the progress from week one to week two, and then this bye week, that that you guys are really close to kind of locking this thing in?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, how close? I don't know. We played much better in week two. There's no doubt about that. But I still think we have a ways to go. There was things that we did really well in week two, and there was also times where we could have went out there and flat shut the game down. That's a good offense. It's a good football team and all those kind of things. But if you want to be the kind of team that people are talking about that we want to be, then I think that you got to go out and shut the game down at certain times, and I think this group's capable of that. So I think we have a ways to go yet. I think we're getting closer. We'll put it that way.
Coach, how impactful was it to lose Alexander Tubner to the targeting call, and how excited are you to have him back this week?
Yeah, I think everyone saw how impactful that was, right? It's not that there's not other good players out there, but it's just the amount of information he can get off the player, to coach communication, how he can get guys lined up. The effort that he brings is contagious out there. So it is a big loss when you lose a player like that. So really excited to have him back. And, that kind of thing happens, though, in college football. So we got to be ready for the next guy up, and we've got to do a better job of getting the next guys prepared.
Does that make it worse when they come back and say, yeah, it shouldn't have been targeting?
I mean, no, I don't know. I mean, there's so much of the things that get called that come back and say, well, sorry, it should have been. I mean, I'm glad that they came back and said there's no suspension, but I'm kind of on to the next deal at that point.
Coach, going from the Georgia Southern O-line to probably more talented Oregon offensive line, how do you think the D-line handled that, talent transition?
Yeah, I thought the defensive front played really well against Oregon. I thought we were physical. I thought they executed at the times. I thought they were able to get some good things going in the pass rush. So happy with how the defensive front played against Oregon. And then just like the whole team played much better versus Oregon. I didn't think any specific group we had played great against Georgia Southern, but I thought they really made a big jump in week 2, and I thought that defensive front played some really good football against a good football team.
You look at Portland State on tape, what do you see out of their offense?
Yeah, you know, Coach Barham's been there a long time, and he's done a fantastic job with this group. They've beat Pac-12 teams, they beat Mountain West teams, they've been in the playoffs. So there is a lot of things going on offense. I think he does a really good job of forcing you to the perimeter early in the football game and then trying to come back inside. I think they can do a nice job with some design QB runs. I think they've got a nice package in empty where they put some stress on the defense in certain spots, and then they have some complementary plays to alleviate that stress on those players and put it on some other ones. But you're going to see a lot of different things. And like you watch the Oregon game from last year, drive 2, they march the ball right down the field. The Washington State game from this year, who Washington State's playing really good football, they march the ball right down the field. So we got our work cut out for us, and we have to go out and execute.
The explosive plays, I mean, it was better, but still not great in terms of getting some big plays against Oregon. How do you, you could do great for the game, then one blown coverage becomes one long, huge play. I mean, how tough is that as a defense, I guess, with some of those big plays?
Yeah, I don't know. I look at it a little differently, I guess. Whether you go by PFF or whatever you want to go by, we had like 14 against Georgia Southern. We had 3 versus Oregon. Now, they were explosive. So you'd like them to not be that explosive. But if you have a chance to give up 3 explosives against a unit like that, you feel okay. But they can't be as big as they were. I guess that was the issue. It wasn't the amount. And some of those were, once again, one of those is one of the calls I said I'd like to have back. I think I could have got us in a better position right there. But once again, it all comes down to execution. Like there's some calls that I make that are not probably the best calls, and the guys go and fix it. You know what I mean? So execution, getting your eyes clean. I think the effort's been really good. The tackling's been much improved, but just being able to clean up our eyes and just being able to execute, I think, eliminates even more of those.
To get the 2 fumbles?
Yeah, it was really good after, week 1 where you get 4 out and you only recover 1 of them. To go 2 for 2 was really nice.
Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Coach.